Well, first I'd like to give all glory and honor to Yahweh by Shem Yahushai by Shem Rakaktash. And double honors to teachers, elders, and apostles of Great Millstone. Likewise, brothers are there putting on the truth. Faithfully, fearlessly feeding the sheep and do brothers and sisters tuning in. Shalom. Today's lesson is titled Draft Talks. It has to happen. Now, we're talking about the United States military because lately now you're hearing these noise, circulating in the media about the shortage of recruits in the United States military. And, someone would ask himself, like, why in the hell there's a shortage in the United States military of recruits? Don't they have enough? Okay. But what we understand about the United States, which is Great Babylon America, and Esau, the so-called white man, is this. Let's go into the book of Revelation 6 and start verse 3, because we're going to see how this pertains to the scripture and why this draft will have to take place again. This is the book of Revelation 6 and Psalm verse 3. It reads, "And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, 'Come and see.' And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace off the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword." And we know about Great Babylon America has been in conflict 92% of its existence. Okay, so there's not going to be a choice here. Now let's go into this article, and of course, as always, we filter this through the scriptures because we realize, that this is Yahweh Shem Yahushai's, his movie, and Esau is a important star in this movie, because he's also the bad guy that the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to put down. Okay, it says military recruitment shortfall. Should U.S. bring back the draft? Now, why are they bringing this out? It says Washington News Nation. The military hasn't been reaching recruitment goals to refill its rank, and shortfalls are now impacting some branches more than others. Politicians on both sides agree that the military recruitment shortfall is a concern. Could a national service mandate could fix the problem? It's not going to fix the problem, but it is a mandate that will have to take place. Now, when you look at the current situation right now, you're seeing there's a continuous global conflict. And who's always behind the scene of these global conflict? Esau, the Edomite, the so-called white man, Great Babylon America. Okay, that's the red horse that's taking peace from the earth. Okay, so they will have to eventually go into a recruitment process or a mandatory enlistment process, as they did before during the Vietnam War. Okay, let's continue. And it says, why are military recruitment numbers so low? Officials at the Department of Defense say recruiting challenges are complex and multifaceted. Some contributing factors include a strong job market and a smaller eligible population. Now, they're contributing a strong job market. That's a crock of crap, because all we're seeing is businesses closing down and a lot of layoff. So that's a crock of crap. Okay, and so they're using that kind of psychology to the readers of this, who will look and say, oh yeah, the economy is really good. No, it's not. The United States is building up and preparing, just like these other nations, to go into a massive conflict known as World War III. Now, it's the part of this that's you have to look at. It says, and a smaller eligible population. This is your choices right now that the military has to choose from in order to draft in to the military when that time comes. Okay, obese young men and women. This is a nation that's glorified in gluttony. Okay, and now this is what the result is. So look at it. You can see this picture here. It says U.S. military struggles to recruit. 22% of young people between 17 and 24 years old qualify to join the military. Just 23%. 53% of Americans aged 18 to 29 years old have a negative view of the military. It doesn't matter. Let's go into the book of Ezekiel, because we're going to see the Lord, loves to have a large body count when he's bringing judgment on the wicked. This is the book of Ezekiel 35 and verse 6. It says, therefore, as I live, said the Lord, power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Said thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Again, when I open up with Revelation 6, starting with verse 3, okay, with that second seal, you see that red horse is going out to conquer and take peace from the earth. So bloody, very bloody, which is Esau, okay? And you see it says red, which Esau really is red. He's not white, okay? It says, thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth. And I will fill his mountains with slain men. In thy hills and in thy valleys and in thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. So see, the Lord loves a big body count. So you would have to continuously supply the United States military with men and women who are going to be part of this body count. Okay, let's continue. It says, I will make thee perpetual desolation, and thy city shall not return, and you shall know that I am the Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yahshai. Now let's pause there for a second. Let's continue on this article. It says, a Pew Research Center report shows that only 23% of young people qualify for the military, and the majority of Americans aged 18 to 29 have a negative view of the armed forces altogether. Because see, when you look at it, it means exercise, okay? It means exercise and some discipline, which that means 77% have a negative view on it, okay? And you can see, okay, the results of that negative view. Let's continue. It says, this year represented the smallest active duty force since 1940. And it says, after missing recruitment goals in 2022, the Army and Navy fell short of those goals again in 2023. According to federal data, of course, all U.S. military branches, the shortfall for 2023 was about 41,000 recruits. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot of number, but when you look at the age that they're looking at, you know, that would be, you know, right in line with the amount of, you know, young service members coming in. It says the Marines and Space Force were the only branch to meet their objectives, according to the Defense Department's 2023 recruiting and retention report. Now, the Marines, they bring you in if you're physically fit. Okay, there you don't have to be smart. But the Space Force, people are going into that most likely because of the training you get. And when they retire or when they get out after a couple of years, you walk out there with, you know, skill set that's actually marketable. So that's why it's people want to go into it. Okay, marketable skills. Okay, so you can see here, U.S. military struggles to recruit 24. 23, they're missing it. Okay, let's go into the scripture here, continuing on in Ezekiel 35 and verse 9. It says, I will make thee perpetual desolation, thy city shall not return. You shall know that I am the Lord, Yahweh Shai. Because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it, whereas the Lord, Yahweh Shai, was there. Therefore, as I live, said the Lord, power, I will even do according to thine anger and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them, and I will make myself known amongst them when I have judged thee. So you see currently right now, okay, the two tribes, okay, you have the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, currently right now being held captive by Esau the Edomite, the so-called white man. And he thinks that he can do with us as he see please. Okay, so let's continue on here in this article for a little bit here. It says, a Defense Department report published last year revealed a number of service members have been down overall since 2005. The military has tried various initiatives to boost recruitment, including the Air Force and Space Force, raising the maximum enlistment age to 42. So they're basically looking at middle-aged men and women now to step up. Okay, and it says recruitment is particularly challenging for Generation Z, the final generation, people born between 1997 and 2012. Videos discouraging joining the military have been circling or swirling on TikTok. Well, see, there's it right there. Instead of exercising, you have people just have their head buried down in a cell phone. Okay, but again, as I said, you know, Esau will have no choice, because you go in the book of Jeremiah 49 and 20. It says, therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord Yahweh Shai, that he take it against Edom and his purposes that he had proposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. So Israel right now, okay, is making a ruckus out there in the so-called Middle East, and the United States of America, okay, as an ally, has what? They have to defend, okay, Israel, a Jewish state. So the Jewish state is going to draw in the United States into the Middle East conflict because it's already been written that they're going to be drawn in. Now, beforehand, the United States has been used to, it has its military spread very thin across the earth, and it's been basically fighting against weak nations, that really just give up and just comply with whatever demands the United States makes because they simply don't have the resource to defend themselves. And two, they just need to do business, and that's all they really want to do. So they just let the bully just trample over them. That's not going to be the case this time. Let's go into the book of Zechariah 14 and 12 before we go back in the article. And it reads, and this should be the plague wherein the Lord Yahweh Shemashai will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. Talking about nuclear blasts, that could be tactical, okay? Not the strategic nuclear blast is just going to take out cities. But we have a war that's coming up with nations like Russia, okay, Iran, and North Korea and China, okay, all have nuclear capability. Okay, let's go into this other final part of the article. It says, could a military service mandate be possible? A draft hasn't been instituted in the country since 1973, and enlisting in the service is voluntary. Despite the worries over recruitment, voters in 2023 Rasmussen poll were not convinced that a draft is a solution. Only 27% said the United States should have a military draft, while 55% remain opposed. That doesn't matter if you oppose it. It's going to, okay, when you go into that conflict, the death toll is going to be so significant early on in the conflict that the United States will have no choice but to go and turn to these fatzos over here, including, former military people, retirees, they're going to go, that retirement payment that we're paying you, that's actually a retention money. So we need to have your ass to come back into the military to train these fatzos. Okay. So the quality of the military and the way they train and the way they do things and the qualification to get in is nowhere near what it was, just maybe 2 decades ago. Okay. It says Lieutenant General Richard Newton, a former U.S. Air Force Assistant Vice Chief of Staff and a News Nation contributor, called the country's recruitment efforts a national security crisis, but he said he couldn't fathom forcing our civilians to serve. You will have no choice. No choice. He says, I don't think it's realistic at all. I think it would be a very difficult thing to mandate that all eligible males and females, for that matter, serve the United States military, Newton said. I think if you flood the ranks of the service, I think that does a disservice to the capabilities and effectiveness of our fighting force, as well as those who volunteer. Now, he's right about that, because if you're forcing people to go in there, you're trying to take these fatzos, these generations, these are that are very vile, okay? They're violent by nature, okay? They're very violent, lazy, out of order, and put them amongst, let's say, an older generation, Generation X that's in the military. There's going to be a conflict even amongst the ranks in the military. How can you be an officer trying to be in control or command of undisciplined Gen Z who don't want to be there to begin with, okay, who are really weak mind and are also physically weak? Many of them will never make it through. They can't even get through maps. But we know they have it in place right now where it doesn't matter. And the elites, they notice, and all of this is what they say. I think it was Henry Kissinger, basically his idea or his view of military or service members is that they're pawns to be used at their disposal. Plain and simple. Let's close over the book of Jeremiah, because the United States being controlled by the elites knows, okay, what we know, okay, those elites, they know, okay, they know what we know, that they're going to go into conflict, they're going to go into World War III, there's going to be heavy casualties, they will have no choice but to go in and grab whoever the hell they can grab. And this is going to be a bad day for many people living here in Great Babylon, America, including the foreign nationals that live here, with their green card. As long as you have that registration with Selective Service, you can be drafted. Okay, so that's going to be that's going to be a psychological nightmare for these other tribes here that typically don't go in. When you go into the United, if you look at the United States military right now, it's mostly either Edomites or Jakes. You don't see Hamites, many Hamites in there. You don't see any so-called Asians inside of it. Okay, the numbers are really small. Okay, but they're also going to get drafted too. They're here. Okay, so many who never would have wanted to serve because, you know, they come over here for that better life, you know, go to Stanford or these other Ivy League universities and be engineers and work for huge corporation, mega corporation, now find themselves strapped up in the boots, laced up, and gonna be boots on ground. So let's go to the book of Jeremiah 51 and 11. It says, make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord Yahweh Bashmi Ashai had raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes, which we see right now every day in the news. Putin is threatening to use his nukes, but he ain't gonna use those nukes right away. You see that destruction of Great Babylon America is going to be the law. It's going to be the Malaks. Okay, that's going to be his glory. But what there is going to be is a lot of blood. Remember, I opened up when I went to Ezekiel 35, and let's see here. When I went to Ezekiel 35, and verse 6 says, therefore as I live, said the Lord God, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Said thou had not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee, because this man has done what? Slaughtered the children of Israel, us so-called blacks, Native Americans, and Latinos, not to mention all the other tribes on this earth. And it says, back to Jeremiah 51 and 11, it says, for his device is against Babylon, to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord, Yahweh Shemi Ashai, the vengeance of his temple. So yes, there's draft talks. It has to happen. It is going to happen. And the hopefully elect men of the Lord, Yahweh Shemi Ashai, were looking forward to seeing the faces and the cries and the tears and the protests against the draft here in Great Babylon, America soon, as the Lord kicks off World War III. So Lord willing, the elect was edified like the close by giving all glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushai Ba'ashem, Rakakatash. Double honors to teachers, elders, and apostles of Great Millstone. Likewise, brothers are there put on the truth, faithfully, fearlessly feeding the sheep and you brothers and sisters are tuning in. Shalom.